All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Martinsville Speedway in advance of this weekend's Xfinity 500. We have now been joined by Joey Logano, driver of the number 22 Team Penske Ford. Joey is locked into the Championship 4 at Phoenix next weekend after his win in Las Vegas. Joey, you are probably the calmest person here this weekend, or at least starting today. We appreciate you spending some time with us. We're going to open for questions for Joey. If you have one, raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you, and we're going to start with Greg, and then we'll go to Bruce.
Oh, jeez. Hey, man. Good morning. Greg Engel Forbes. Obviously, you've got a certain amount of pressure, even though you're in the Final Four. As you come into the championship, when you're dealing with sponsors and you're in the playoffs, do they give you like leeway a little bit, so to speak? In other words, you know, the appearances and come here and sign this and do that. Do they kind of back off a little bit when you're in the playoffs, and does that help?
There's a little bit of added focus on the competition side. Now, I mean, part of being a race car driver, there's multiple jobs that come along with not just driving the car, right? There's a lot of other things that come along with that, and some drivers embrace those areas more than others. Some just want to drive. Some of them want to do more of the off-track stuff. Some of them want to keep finding more opportunities to keep growing as a leader in their team. And it just kind of depends, and that's fine for everybody. You know, I feel like I found a pretty good balance of trying to do all three of those things the best I can, because I've seen drivers make a great career out of winning races. I've seen drivers make a great career out of not winning races but doing all the other things really, really well. You know, so if you can do them all, boy, you're really going to have something. So that's kind of the way I've approached my career, especially over the last 10 years. At Team Penske and with Shell and Ford and trying to work those directions. But to answer your question, I guess in the playoffs, yeah, I may shift my focus a little bit more towards the playoffs themselves. You know, I was scheduled to go to SEMA next week. You know, that going into the championship race probably just doesn't add up or make any sense to do, considering what's coming up. Now, that being said, if we didn't make championship 4, I was 100% going to SEMA next week. So it just kind of depends on how the season's going.
So SEMA's canceled then?
For me, yes. I think there'll still be a lot of people out there, though. I don't know how much they'll miss me. It seems like there's a lot of cool things out there still. Thanks.
So if somebody wins tomorrow, they get locked in, and that's 2, which means 2 guys got to get in on points. But if you win tomorrow, you could throw the whole thing into disarray, which means 3 guys got to get in on points. So when you're a guy that can only get in on points, how wild does that make this particular race at this track?
Well, it's tricky, and this is what, you know, the playoffs are all about. It gets harder and harder every round to do it. You know, and now you don't think about it. You had to finish, you know, 8th the round before. Now you got to finish 4th. You know, after 3 races, and it gets harder and harder to do that. So, yeah, I mean, it's tough. I'm glad we are locked in. It's been a nice couple weeks to be able to focus on Phoenix. You know, not that we've been relaxed, but there's been added focus towards Phoenix already, where no one else has had the privilege to really do that. So, you know, we're using that to our advantage, as we should. We earned that right. So we've really focused down on those ones and making sure that we're ready when we get there, while everyone else has got the pressure on them this weekend. So, you know, for us, we can go out there and race, have some fun, try to, you know, improve on our race team and, you know, learn some things for the next time we come to Martinsville and hopefully get a trophy out of it.
For those guys, how much stress is it put on the crew chiefs and the guys that have to do all the calculating?
You know, it's a lot of stress. Oh, I guarantee. I'm telling you, the playoffs are the most stressful time of the year. But I always say you want that, right? I always say it's you as many times as you feel stressed and you feel the pressure, you'd rather have the pressure than not have the pressure, right? If you don't have the pressure, you're out. You have no chance of winning. You want to keep that pressure on for 10 weeks. That's the goal when you start the playoffs is how do I keep the pressure on for 10 weeks? And, you know, thankfully we've been able to keep the pressure on for 10 weeks and hopefully have a championship at the end of it. But yeah, it becomes more and more stressful as the playoffs go, right? As you get through the first round, you know, it's usually fairly smooth. You know, as long as you don't have any mistakes, and then each round just gets more and more intense and harder and tougher for the crew chiefs, tougher for the drivers, tougher for the pit crews. Like, it's just, you're getting closer to the goal, and it gets harder and harder as you go along.
All right, Mark, go ahead.
Mark Carroll, PRN. Sort of along those lines. Is this going to be a regular week? You have a regular routine. Is this a regular routine week, or is it different leading up to Phoenix?
Leading into Phoenix, it's a little different because I got to go out early for media. So we'll be leaving town a little bit earlier to go up there or out there. But outside of that, yeah, I mean, it's a fairly normal week. Monday, I don't think will be much different than our typical Mondays. Tuesday we'll do our Wednesday meetings on Tuesday because I got to leave Wednesday, so we'll be a little bit quicker on that stuff. And but I mean, all our Phoenix stuff, we've really already gone through a lot of it. Like we've done way more for Phoenix than we have for most any other race already, and we're still another week out. So I feel pretty prepared for the weekend already.
For the race itself, is the trick to go, it's just another race, but not know it's just another race? I mean, how do you handle the race that way, pressure-wise or
I think it depends on
expectation?
the person. It depends on the person, depends on the team, and what kind of people you have on your team, right? If you have people that you need to make them feel comfortable, you may minimize the significance of the race. If you have people that love pressure and love the moment, there's no need to minimize what's going on. You're there. It's a great accomplishment to make it to the championship 4. It's one heck of a bummer not to win if you went this far and not win, right? So it is what it is. It's like I told the guys, this is just one step closer to the ultimate goal. That's all Vegas was. It was great. It gets us there and gives us a chance, but that's all it was. It is not the goal yet, and so I just said that to keep the pressure on my team, keep them looking for more over the next couple weeks, and keep that intensity up because it's going to be on when we get there. So there's no need to get relaxed now.
All right, we're going to go to Reed and then Lee. Go ahead.
Reed Spencer with the NASCAR Wire. When you won the championship in 2018, you also won the first race in the round of 8. I mean, and do you feel like you're sort of following that same path at this point? Doing same things. Obviously, then you had time to work on Phoenix from that point on.
Right.
I think the round of 8 race was here, and you were working toward Homestead. But
Right.
does it feel the same?
It does. It does, and it's been good. If I look at our best chances to win the championship, they've come after winning the first round in the first race in the round of 8. Right, winning here 2018, that gave us a great advantage. We won in Kansas in 2020. That was a good help. And now once again, winning in Vegas, I think those will give us our best chance. 2020, I don't see anything our team did wrong, right? And that's kind of the, in a way, extra motivation to seek revenge after that last run at Phoenix when the tires started shaking and we lost the lead with whatever it was, 40, 50 to go, and fall back after, cycling, on the green flag pit stop to the lead. Everything's going the way it's supposed to. Ran the 9 down, passed in the whole 9. And then giving it away like that. That's art for quite a few years, or the last couple of years for me. And I can't say I'm over it. So this is the moment of revenge on that.
Don't you want revenge for 2015 too? Because I mean, to me that was your.
I don't think he's out there anymore.
I just mean you personally, because to me that's like the first one that got away for you. Your team that year was just absolutely spectacular.
Absolutely. I mean, that was. I mean, everyone can look back and say ifs and buts, right? And how many championships you could have won. All right, I can look back and say we should have 4 of them right now. But, I look at 2015, that was our strongest year as a team with a ton of wins and coming off 3 in a row with a chance to, go to the championship 4, lead in the race at Martinsville and get wrecked. Like that was a great chance for us to win a championship that year. We missed it. Right. If I look at, even the first one in 2014, with the jack on a pit stop, right, or racing Carl, you're trying to pass for the lead on a late race restart. Hey, you can look at all these and you can stack them up and go, man, I should have 4 championships by now, right? But you don't, right? And it is what it is. So you just got to keep looking out the windshield, and like I said, all these things they stack up, and you'll find more ways to lose them than win them. And the facts are you have a 1 in 4 chance to win it when you get there, and we've won 1 out of 4 so far. This will be our 5th time at it. So I'd say we're ready to get another one.
Don't you feel like you're older and wiser now, though? I mean,
Absolutely.
with all the experience that you have been into, I mean, when you lose, at least you're learning from that experience.
100%. I mean, I always tell the guys this too. I said, listen, when you get to these moments in the playoffs at any point, it's not win or lose, it's win or learn. And I think those are the biggest things that we can take as a team, is that, after all those losses in the playoffs in the championship 4 or being that close to it, there's been a lesson in each one of those. And as long as you can take the emotion out and eventually find the key learnings to it, is that really a loss, right? Like, and that's kind of how I've looked at it over the years, and it's helped me become a stronger person on and off the racetrack, a stronger driver, obviously, and I have no regrets. It's a bummer still, right? You can't. Sometimes you just don't get over it, but I've become a stronger person because of it, and a stronger leader for my race team after going through it so many times. There's not many other drivers that are in the round of 8 right now that have been to the championship 4 that many times, right? Denny, Chase, been there a couple times, right? But that's kind of it. So that experience definitely has a lot of value.
Noah Lewis, TSJ Sports. Joey, obviously we haven't practiced yet, but is there any way of assuming what we'll see this weekend in terms of the racing? Obviously it was tough to pass here earlier this year, but a lot of guys have a lot of things on the line in this race, so we got to assume, I would suppose, that things are going to be a little more interesting.
Oh, it's going to be interesting. I promise you that. And after qualifying, you guys have plenty to talk about, depending on who qualifies where and what. And pit stall selection is pretty important here as well. And it's a tight battle for all these guys. It's a super tight battle for everybody. So, when it comes down to the end of the race, we've seen it so many times, whether it's for the win or it's for that 1 point that they need coming off turn 4. We've seen some big moments here where desperate people do desperate things. And this is a track where the desperate people have an opportunity to do a desperate thing. So, boy, I'm glad I'm not a part of that.
All right, we'll end with Bruce. Go ahead, Bruce.
The other side of the building won a championship back in September, so how important would it be for you to get a trophy for your side of the building?
Well, obviously, we always want to win championships, and I'm happy for them, right? There's not really a rivalry between IndyCar and NASCAR. Right? It's we want to see everybody succeed, whether it's a sports car program or an IndyCar. Like, everybody wants to win together. We work together, in some ways, and I'm happy to see their success. Obviously, we want to have success as well, but having a dual championship season for Team Penske with IndyCar and NASCAR, that would be really special, and hopefully we're the ones that deliver that.
All right, Joey, thank you so much for your time. We wish you the best of luck this weekend.
All right, thank you guys. Have a good one.